Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? It's Hillary, the marketing mom. Glad I am able to join you today on this hump day. So today I'm getting a little technical, and yesterday I had a very fantastic call with a team member of mine, and we were talking about target markets and how to find them. So, which is why I decided, I'm going to pull out the resources and the recesses of all my training and do an actual like presentation, which is like not normal that I do. So I thought this would be really helpful because everybody's got a business, and especially apparently in Trinidad, everybody's looking to make money online. um, but you social media has done a little bit of help and disservice for us at the same time, because we are able to reach thousands of people, but then we sit there and we're promoting our products and our services, and we're saying, wait a second, why am I not attracting the people that I want to attract? And it's probably because when you go online, you've got to be more specific than you've ever been. Okay. And as an, doing marketing at tertiary level and everything, all of the principles do apply. You've got to have that knowledge behind you. But when it comes to digital, everything gets thrown on top of its head. Don't you feel that way? Right. So I'm going to dive into the presentation here really quickly. And this is an old presentation from a workshop that we had done some years back. So some of the images might look a little old, and I do not have the rights to anything here. All right. So if you Google the name avatar, right? If you Google the word avatar, you're probably going to see this image, right? And why we call target market avatar is because unlike the target market, which is kind of like that big group, okay? It's that big group of people that you're dealing with. The ideal customer is one person. And I remember way back when I first started online, this was a concept that I just couldn't get because I'm coming from the MBA marketing type of mindset where we talk about target market, we talk about groups of people. If you're going into business, you're targeting a group of people because it's a group of people that will buy your products, right? But then online, you have to think about the one person because your voice can get lost. But imagine if you were sitting down talking to a best friend. And that's the way it was described to me. You're sitting down and you're talking to your best friend. You are not going to use words like they and us. You're speaking to them. You. You are hurting right now. You should read this book. I read it last week and it reminded me of your situation with your daughter when you had this challenge. Okay. You see how it's very specific. The target market tends to be very general. It's men or women, it's men and women. Right, it's a group of people. Um, it's an industry. So you're talking about people in the skincare industry. You're targeting people in the skincare industry. Or you're targeting people in the nursing industry, or you're targeting, or like, look at Coca-Cola. Could we imagine Coca-Cola having an ideal customer? Well, funny enough, they probably do. Could we imagine Apple having an ideal customer? Funny enough, they do. But they don't target the group of people. They don't say anybody who's going to use cell phones, kind of like Samsung. All right. And I'm not going to get into the Android iPhone debate here, all right, because I am an Android user. But anyway, but there's nothing when you target a entire market, there's nothing really specific because you're bringing everything in. Now the reality is, in a sense, you have to bring everything in. But if you're a marketing online, that ideal customer, the everything that you're bringing in is on the one person. All right. So as I say here, your ideal customer, what we call the avatar is male or female. They're not both, right? We only got two of them. It's male or female. They're one person. They're not 25 to 65. It's either 25 or 65. The ideal person that you want to work with is not an age range. It's they're an age right now. Okay, the ideal person that you want to work with is probably, I don't know, is the person 36, is the person 65, is the person 72. Okay, it's probably not the people who are on TikTok morning, noon, and night, because I don't know where they're getting their resources from, right? So again, as a social media manager, I come in here and I tell people, knowing who you want to target helps with so many things in your marketing. All right. And we're talking here about understanding your target market so that you can generate the leads and the sales that you want online. All right. Now, whether this works in the traditional spaces, I'm sure it could from a principle standpoint, but we're talking about digital because when you go digital, you're reaching so many people. Okay. You're reaching so many people, but you've got to connect to the one person. Okay. So that was one thing that, I really wanted to drive home here. Why one person and not many? Okay. So when you're marketing online, you want to find the one person and you want to make that connection, as I just said. You market to them and then you serve them. It's very difficult to serve somebody who is, like, for example, if you're targeting moms, okay, or if you're targeting single moms, a single mom has different things on their mind versus a mom, a mom of one with their husband and granny next door to support them. Okay, a single mom living in the middle of a city is a very different person to the mother of three with a husband and a support system around them. Okay, so when you are finding your target market, you have to realize that you're connecting with a person, and a person who has many different things going on in their life. Then you market to them because a mother is not only in the market for Pampers or baby's clothes or children clothes or school books. A mother may be in the market for makeup because one day she may want to look pretty. Or a mother may be in the market for some exercise clothes. All right. So you've got to know this person. And it's hard to do that if you're doing it with multiple people. Okay. So multiple people are going to cross. But if you do it with one person, then the one eventually becomes a million, right? Because the one person is not the only person who's shopping at Gap or shopping at Massy or shopping, they're not the only person. But if you focus on the one, you can get all the characteristics of that one person, and the one person will eventually become millions in a digital space, right? You want to get down to what is their one need, one pain that relates to your product or service. Okay, that's important. You want to understand their one desire, how that's going to convert to your product or service. Okay, so some of the questions, and these are questions that have been posed to me, especially from a digital standpoint, the questions that you want to ask to help you pull out, who is this person? And the funny thing is, when I did this, how many ever years ago, and every once in a while, you have to do it over again because the way you're going to speak to people is different. And maybe as you grow, your audience grows as well. All right. And you really need to kind of hone in every once in a while. All right. So ask these questions over and over again to yourself. All right. Because the people out there who are buying your product and service, they're buying it for a reason. And you are marketing to that reason. So, what is the biggest source of pain? All right. So, for people right now who are looking for online businesses, what's their biggest source of pain? No income. All right. That's their biggest source of pain. What are their biggest fears? That they can't pay their bills next month. All right. What are their common challenges that they face? Okay. I mean, in this period that we're going through, it's obvious, right? But if somebody, say weight loss, for example, what's the biggest source of pain for somebody who is trying to lose weight or would love to lose weight, and say you're selling a weight loss product? All right. Think about your product and then what is the source of pain for the potential customer? All right. Their fears, their pains, their trials, their challenges. Okay. When I think about weight loss, sometimes I think about when I was pregnant and I was just like, oh, can't imagine being like that all the time. All right. Anyway, what are their desires? What are their best desires? Do they have that red dress, that bright red dress hung up inside of the cupboard, waiting, for the day that they lose the 25 pounds? Okay. What information are they currently consuming? Because this is where you start figuring out how to actually attract them. So, what information are they currently consuming? If you're trying to attract people who are looking for weight loss, they're probably going to be reading weight loss magazines and all of this type of stuff. One of the great, and as I, in the last slide, I just put three sources where you could find a lot of this information. Google, ironically, is a great source of information, and I'm not being sarcastic. All right. What information are they already consuming? All right. You could find that out, because if somebody is looking for a solution, all right, that you have, they're probably reading different books, reading different magazines on other websites, right? And this is where, the social starts to kick in. What other products and services are they currently buying? Okay. And this is not just what they're buying on a regular day-to-day basis. This is around what you're trying to sell. So this is where you really need to, literally, you're starting to think, who are my competitors? But you're not thinking of it from that perspective. You're thinking of it from the perspective of the customer. What are my customers probably buying? Right? What are my customers probably consuming right now? So, in the space where a lot of people right now are probably searching for online business or online, any way to make money online because we're all on lockdown, what are they probably doing? They're probably on Google typing that exact phrase in, how to make money online. Okay. And then when you type that phrase in, how to make money online, if that's what you have to offer people, all right, then you see all of the things that they're probably consuming, and that you probably either need to position yourself to do or offer, all right, or at least do that to attract them, because guess what? That's what they're seeing and that's what they're consuming. Okay. What specific solution do you think will make their lives easier and better? Right. And that's when it comes to your product and service. Okay. But you always have to position it as, how am I making their life easier? And this is where sometimes, yeah, you're going to have maybe a hybrid of offers, different things. All right. So when we talk about getting personal, I spoke about this earlier. You want to know what's the age of your ideal customer. It's not a range. The reason we put a range inside of all of our um what you call it, targeting when you're doing ads, is because that's what they give you. Okay. But you've got to narrow it down. It's like, honestly, do you want to work with 18-year-olds? I mean, honestly, is what you have to sell for 18-year-olds, or is it for 40-year-olds? Let's be real. Okay. I always think of who has the disposable income. That's where you're going to put your ad dollars anyway. Okay. Right. Male or female? We don't have hybrids. Sorry. What kind of career are they in? Jobs. So you start to think about the person as, when, and this is where the old Maslow's hierarchy of needs comes in. What is their career? What's their income? What companies have they worked for? What schools have they attended? Universities. What's their level of university? Um, what's their marital status? Do they have children? All right. And then when it comes to children, you've got different groups. Are they the children of the parents of young children, teenage, adult children? Okay. What kind of hobbies do they have? Because I'm sure they do something. They play cricket, they play baseball for my American followers. They play football, the one that we kick with the foot. Yes. All right. What are the things that they do other than sit down and look for a business opportunity or look for tables or computers? I saw recently somebody posted that, okay, all the homeschooling parents have bought out all the home and office computers and they only have these big ones out there, right? So yes, people are looking for some specific things sometimes, but when they're just sitting down on the phone just scrolling, right? What are the things they're genuinely interested in? Baking cakes, I don't know, interior decorating, all right? So the purpose of that, asking those questions, going through those questions, and I'm going to leave it up, but you want to get to who the person is, because you're marketing, I've said this many times, you're marketing to a human being. So you've got to be human. Don't think of them as a number. Don't think of your potential customers as numbers. You need to find them where they are at. Okay. Just because you are an entrepreneur doesn't mean that the people you want to serve are going to be in entrepreneurial groups. They're going to be in cooking groups. They're going to be in, maybe they're fighting alcoholism. They're going to be there. They're going to be in running groups, okay? They're going to be in fitness groups. They're going to be in weight loss groups. They're going to be in how to help raise my children better groups, okay? I'm thinking that's my mommy radar going off, right? And you need to connect with them where they are at, okay? Now, where do you find all of this information? I mentioned before Google. Amazon is a great source because what people consume, all right? So, what people consume, whether it is books, whether it is products, understanding what they are buying into, all right, and locally I'm sure we have different avenues, okay, but you could literally search by, what are the activities, the interests, and all of these type of things. Facebook audience insights is also a great thing because when you plug in certain information, you see what this group of men or this group of women are interested in, okay, and that's why the Facebook audience insights actually lays out, and I'll probably do another training on that because it's really helpful in terms of seeing the characteristics of the human being. If you take off your blinders for a second, not look at the big number, decide it says how many ever millions of people you could reach on Facebook, but look at the process. They start with where is the person living? Okay. And the reality is you could get down to a city in a certain radius. Okay. So you think about where's the person living, their education status, their marital status, the number of children. And what Facebook Insights is actually telling you to do is think of this person as a human being, right? They're not just on Facebook to look at your product. They're on Facebook doing a lot of things, and they are a person in their life that they do a lot of things. Do they play golf? Do they play cricket? All of these things, So when I talk about the hobbies, so that's where you want to go find the information. Facebook's Insight has a wealth of information, and yes, I'll probably do another training on it. Magazines.com is also another great one. So if you're in interior design, you can literally go to magazines.com, type in interior design, and it will give you all the magazines. Because let's be frank, if you're targeting people who like interior design, but you're not an interior designer necessarily, okay, you have no clue what they're reading. Same thing with if you know that these people have an interest in running or weight loss or fitness, and that's not your passion, you've got to go find where these people are. And you do that through these sources: Google, Amazon, um, magazines.com. All right. So that is kind of the Cliff Notes version because I actually did this training in like an hour. All right. So in terms of how to find your target market, where to find them, all right, and why it has to be one person. Okay. It's really important because when you now start plugging in this information, so now we're taking this next step, right? A little next step. When you start plugging in this information into, say, an ad campaign, the structure of the ad campaign is literally the structure that we've just gone through in terms of understanding the human being. They ask where they're living, the demographics, their age, their sex, all of these things. And note, it's always male or female. Um, it's one or the other. You clump both, and what you're doing is starting to mix your message. Okay. Same thing with the age. All right. We know that people over a certain age, they have a different life experience to people under a certain age, right? We know that by generations. So when you put in your ad campaign 18 to 65, you just told Facebook, okay, take my money and waste it. Because the life experience of that age, that group of people is so hugely different. The way they're living, somebody who's living in Trinidad or Barbados or Jamaica has a totally different life experience to somebody who's living in the UK, Australia, or the United States or Canada. All right. So understanding this training that I just went through helps you when you start to get into the actual tactical nitty gritty of plugging in the information when you start doing your ad campaigns and all of the setting up of your audiences and all of those things that are very technical right now. Okay, so hope you got value from this. If you want to dive deeper, learn more about this, do reach out to me. I put a link in the description of this video. It's a free strategy session that you could sign up for. Let's hear where you're at, where's your business, and if you're looking to start a business, also sign up for that strategy session. We can also talk about that. Okay, so I hope today's session was very impactful for you. And if you want to get more of these trainings, let me know in the comments below. Drop in the comments below if you like this training and you want to see more of this type of stuff. I'm definitely going to be putting that out for you if you say so. A lot of people have to say yes. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.